You are watching the HangWith.me Showcase series, cast by myself, Totalbiscuit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SHOUTcraft right here, bringing you Morrow in the green trunks. He is playing Zerg right here on the Metalopolis, and you see they have spawned in these close air positions versus his opponent in the baby blue trunks. It is the one and only Socke. It is 2 apiece in this best of 7 series. These games have gone on forever. Like, really long games every single time against 2 extremely evenly matched opponents. Oh yes, it was a good matchup, and I'm happy with it. But what we saw last game is that Socke was able to time it just right. He was able to deploy those Colossus, and Morrow was not able to respond to that in time. He did not scout the Colossus facility, the Colossus Den as we like to call it, until way too late, and once he saw that robotics facility, he was not able to respond. He started to build his spire, but with a great attack with 3 Colossus and an additional spawn-in on the side of his cliff, taking advantage of the geography of that map, he was able to easily crush the army of Morrow, and Morrow had no response to that. He was not able to expand. It was good. It was very good, and you know what? It absolutely did the job. However, the Metalopolis is known for lengthy economic games. We'll see whether or not that is the case this time around. This will be the best of 7 that never ends, that I can guarantee right now. It is easily going to go to a bare minimum of 6 games because it's already 2-2. It could very well go to the full 7. And all I can say is that so far, whoever wins tonight will have blatantly earned their keep. Morrow starts off with the spawning pool and the extractor. Once again, Socke finds him straight away. It's almost like he has some kind of spider sense. Bear in mind, folks, that these are played from replays. There is no possibility of ghosting or cheating, not that you would ever expect either of those players to do something like that. That would be ridiculous. But whatever the case, you know for a fact it ain't happening, and Socke is just lucky. Or indeed, Morrow is just unlucky with his spawn, depending on which perspective you would like to take. It's all relative, folks. It is all relative. Spawning pool almost complete right now for Morrow, and we'll see him do exactly the same thing he did before. Now, I wonder whether or not Socke will do the same thing that he did last time. With a 4 gateway, which is intriguing, of course. You know, supporting 4 gateways off for a single base is a little dicey, to say the least, but it does depend on how many units you spawn from them. Now, more to the point, I think that he went for 4 gateways so that he could actually respond to an attack rather than actually prosecute one. Bear that in mind. People hear the term 4 gate and they initially think, oh god, cheese, oh my god, you're the worst player in the world. Not necessarily. You know, 4 gate is a very specific strategy. It involves pushing at a very specific time. Now, it is effectively a timing attack, a very risky timing attack. That's an attack where you time specifically when it happens, folks. It's a narrow window where it will be the most effective. That was not what he did. He built 4 gateways so that he could respond to the attacks of his opponent, and it worked very well for him. It really did. He was able to warp in additional units when he needed them, hold his opponent off for long enough to break out the Colossus. And that was the most important thing. Wait until you get those Colossus, warp in where necessary and no more than that, and then he was able to crush Morrow against the cliffs of the Lost Temple. Whether or not you'll be able to do it on the Metalopolis, though, I really do not know. I've seen Morrow play some unbelievable games on the Metalopolis. He is a old hand at this particular map. He likes it. The Zerg tend to like it. They're a big fan of it. Lots of great economic play can happen here. Lots of expansion opportunities. Lots of violence, and that's what we love to see. Yes, we do. Morrow, right now, what are you looking at? He's got Metabolic Boost coming up, almost finished, and the hatchery almost complete, and we have 2 more gateways coming up for Socke. Again, that doesn't really reveal anything, honestly, not at this point in time. Socke with the pylon placement. Don't know if he's looking for an expansion right now. It's looking fairly unlikely. Only 1 sentry on the field. Second one is available, though. Almost completed on the warp gates right now. In the meantime, Zerglings continue to push their way forward. Now finally got the speed bonus. They will do absolutely nothing against a Zealot and 2 sentries. No question, no question. There we go, through to the warp gate and immediately through to Roaches right now for Morrow. Economically, Morrow and Socke pretty much identical right now. We've got the 3 gateways available for him, and we'll see what he decides to go through from there. It would be fairly usual to see him go through to a robotics. We'll have a look. That robotics bay facility, the 2 that I always get mixed up. The robotics thing, yes. Whatever the Colossus facility is now will now be called the Colossus Den. Yep, no question about that. And then I could just call it, he's building a robotics. What kind of robotics? The only kind of robotics. But I thought you said, no, it's a Colossus Den, damn it. Then smack them with a belt. An abusive father. An abusive father. Spine Crawler, 1 and 2. Yes, coming up for Morrow right there. Nicely defended. should be pretty difficult to push through. But there you go. There's that expansion up for Socke. When you see a lot of sentries coming out, it usually means that he wants to expand. He wants to be able to deal with the harassment. He wants to deal with any early push. And the sentries are pretty damn critical for that. Zap! Haha! Nothing left of that, unfortunately, other than a stain on the ground. Needs a bit of a cleanup. Call the janitor, ladies and gentlemen. Call that janitor. What have we got right here? Morrow, what have you got? Roaches and spine crawlers. Will he be able to hold that? No question. He will not have any issues there whatsoever. Does he look for another expansion shortly? We'll find out. Still a little bit of a risk from Socke right now, but he is mostly dedicated to sentries. That's mostly a defensive force as opposed to an offensive force. Doesn't really have anything to push with right now. I wouldn't push with sentries and only sentries. Maybe with a single zealot, and he looks for it. Sees maybe he might test the defenses tomorrow, but if you look at that, he's got a very, very nice concave there of roaches and a couple of spine crawlers. Plus he's got the queen at the back as well to give him a little bit of additional firepower, so he's not too worried. We have a look, we see no expansion right now, but we could see one in a couple of seconds. There you go, he's got the count for it. And there we go, straight through to that hatchery right now. Socke with the push. Not really so much of a push, more of a, I'm going to look at your base and then leave amicably kind of deal. Not the same as an attack, folks. Not really. It's way better manners, for one thing. Robotics facility now finally active, and we've got the level 1 upgrade coming up as well. 2 more extractors coming down, and once again, with those missile attack upgrades, looking for lots of roaches and probably transitioning through to hydralisks. But that's going to rely on whether or not Morrow is aware of Colossus coming in. We're not seeing a Colossus den. We now are seeing a Colossus den. The robotics bay coming up right here. It's their den, folks. They hide in a little fortress made of pillows. It is a little disturbing. They're big pillows, for one thing. Colossus are a bit tall. They don't fit in your average-sized Protoss kids' bunk beds, I can guarantee. Ground weapons level 1 upgrade. There is that additional expansion down the bottom, almost complete, and we'll see a transfer down there momentarily of drones. Right now, economically, we see Morrow streaming ahead with 12 more harvesters than his opponent, but of course, he could still be vulnerable to attacks, and Socke now with a couple of stalkers in there, but still, it lacks firepower, folks. It has plenty of staying power, but it lacks firepower. He knows what's coming in, a little bit of distraction right there, delay the force just a little bit. Can Morrow hold the line? Not with that force, but where are the rest of his roaches? They're actually hanging around right here. They were defending that expansion, and they'll now immediately return to that line, and Socke will not be able to do anything there whatsoever. Immortal on the way, Hydralisks on the way. There's your roach speed upgrade as well. I'd expect to see more roaches from Morrow simply because he got torn apart, let's be honest. He got torn apart by the Colossus last time. We're going to see Colossus coming up. Extended thermal lances on its way. And I have an itchy nose, which is incredibly annoying. God. That's one of the worst things for a caster, folks. As you're well aware, casters have to use both hands in order to operate the console and things like that and operate the mouse. Keep an eye on what's exactly going on. If you get an itchy nose, you can't focus. Oh, why, Delilah? Right, Socke, what are you gonna do? You're gonna throw those down the throat of the roaches? It might work, but that's still 15 roaches and 2 spine crawlers. It's a little bit risky, folks. It is a little bit risky. There's an overseer on the way. Yes, and why would there not be an overseer on the way? A delicious overseer. Overseer is almost complete. At least you can have a look and, of course, do that contamination stuff. And there is only 1 robotics facility up, but a single Colossus is on the field. We're looking for a second. There, once again, is that missile attack level upgrade. Off he goes. Does he have contaminate? He actually does not, but he's getting a good little bit of scouting on right there. That's going to get torn out of the sky. Yes, it is. There you go. Nothing, nothing, nothing. In the meantime, Morrow looks to try and take yet more map control. He has it, but I'm concerned that the same thing is going to happen again. Socke's been given time to build up that nice big ball of death, and if that happens, Morrow could be in an awful lot of trouble. We've got 2 more gateways on the way, and it wouldn't surprise me to see yet more robotics coming up in the not-too-distant future to continue with that Colossus push. Is there a spire? There is no spire, folks. Not a spire to be seen in sight. That does not inspire confidence in me. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind. I'm talking out of my ass. Oh, yes. Right. Socke. Sitting on 14 stalkers. 8 sentries. Got 1 immortal, only one. That's not going to be too great. Additional warpins right there. Will he be able to push that line? We see another expansion down the bottom right here for Morrow. And an expansion for Socke as well. Socke trying to at least keep up, and that would be a smart thing to do. No doubt about that. In we come. Will Socke have the numbers that he needs to break this? That is what he's looking for, no question. Looks to flank around. Can he attack this expansion, which is quite vulnerable? There's the roaches. How many does he have? Does he have enough to repulse that force? I do not think so. Socke with an advantage. A very strong advantage right now. Morrow just doesn't have the numbers. Corruptors are on the way. He's only got 2 on the field, though. We'll take those defenses out, and then he'll look to push forward. There you go. Brutalize as much as he can. Observer can spot that, and there come the Corruptors. That's going to be risky, and there's the firepower and the engagement right there. A good placement of the force fields ensures that his opponent is at least pushed back. How much damage can he inflict on those roaches? Colossi taken down, but Socke does have a large number of Stalkers right now, pushing all the way back into the base of Morrow. Morrow, what are you going to do about that? Gonna have to repulse it. He spawns. He's got a lot of roaches. Gonna pop up all in the middle of that, and that's gonna be messy. That Corruptor count is not gonna do anything right now. A lot of brutality inflicted on that base, but he's able to flank around the side. How many roaches can he bring in? A reasonable number, trying to divide that and at least obscuring the vision of his opponent. A smart move indeed. Absorbing some auto attacks as well. And Socke being pushed back right here. Reinforcements come in from the main base. The Hydralisks and the Roaches push him all the way back in there, but that base is also vulnerable. You've got to get in there. It pulls the drones off the line. How many drones? Probably about 75 million. There's the surround. Those are not going anywhere in a hurry, folks. And the force is indeed crushed beneath the mighty jackboot of the Zerg. What do we see lost right there? Socke has actually lost more resources worth. Indeed, those Colossi were crushed in a fairly hefty manner. No question about that. How's the economy going? Socke still behind, even after trying to attack that base. So, honestly, I would call that attack a failure on that particular basis. He didn't lose as many units worth. Morrow was not really kept back, and he should be able to easily rebuild those drones. He's oversaturated right here. He could very easily transfer back to that once he's sure that that's actually safe, and his income is looking good. Socke's is looking pretty good as well, though. Bear in mind, he has those operational bases, and he's not oversaturated, so he's mining extremely efficiently. 6 assimilators available right here for mega gas. What have we got? More overseers on the way. 3 more queens coming out. Zerg flyer at whoa, 4 queens coming out. How many did he lose, actually? Well, he lost a couple, so he's now going for 5 queens. I have to wonder if he's going to bother reinforcing that force with some queens. We've seen that it can be effective, or I would just imagine he's going to put a queen at every one of these bloody things. Look at that. He's expanded all the way over there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 bases. 4 expansions. A queen for each. Yes, it is delicious. Forward. Flanking. Can he? He can. Yeah, yep. You know, bit casual, folks. Nice and laid back. And Socke is usually the laid back one, that I can tell you. Right, around the side, looking for some damage. He's not going to find any. He's going to find death and destruction and tiny little Zergling parts when he goes to investigate what exactly happened to his scouting force. There you go. We've got the High Templar coming out. We've got the Psy Storm on its way. A smart move nonetheless. Morrow just being very patient right now. His income, however, is streaming ahead a mass drone spawn. He has 98 right now. And we saw exactly what that did for him on Tal'Darim Altar. It enabled him to mine huge amounts of stuff. I'm a tactical genius! It is unbelievable! Nobody else could have predicted that, I can tell you that for a fact. Army count right now, not looking so good in terms of Socke's forces, but bear in mind that there's a pretty damn large harvester difference between the two. 30, in fact. So only about 20 of those supply count is dedicated to units, and all of these are dedicated to these stupid bloody things. Oh, if I was a Zerg player, I would feel the frustration of having to build units simply to counter one unit and then not being able to do anything with them afterwards, other than go all the way through to expensive brood lords. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. Why would you, as a Zerg player, want to do that? And I think that is certainly a problem, but I'm not going to look at balance. I'm more looking at the pain in the ass factor, which I'm told is a very significant, indeed, a very significant thing to consider if you happen to be Blizzard Entertainment. We've got the Baneling Nest coming up right here. Here's the Infestation Pits and the Ventral Sacks. Yes, it could be a replay of what happened on Tal'Darim Altar, and that could be messy for Socke, no question about that. Socke was worn down in a war of attrition right there. Economically, Morrow now streaming ahead. He has sacrificed some of those drones. He's actually supply blocked right now. I think he ended up getting a few overlords sniped off. Yes, indeed, he did as they floated over there. Nothing in them, folks. Ventral Sacks upgrade is not complete. And throwing away some overlords for no apparent reason. In come the Corruptors, maybe just throwing them away so they actually just expand his army size. I wouldn't really blame him. Looks to try and see if he can find anything useful. Is the Colossus on the field? There actually is one. But he's going to lose all his Corruptors as he goes through there. But what else is he going to do with them? Other than turn them into Broodlords at a later date. Throws them away. At least he also knows where his opponent actually is. That force of Roaches and Hydras is waiting for it, and he's got a significant upgrade advantage in terms of the amount of firepower he's able to bring them to bear. It's a good split right there, and most of the Roaches behind that are not going to be able to do too much, and it's a massive storm. Huge damage done, and Socke pushes them all the way back. Oh yes, and those Corruptors getting taken apart for free, but of course, bear in mind that Morrow did that on purpose. He threw them away so that he could reinforce with units that actually did something useful. Morrow has a changeling. How very cute. Look at that. Look at that. It's great, isn't it? I have to... Oh, wow. Socke killing his... Morrow's actually killing his own corruptors right there because Socke refused to do so. There you go. Centrifugal hooks on the way. There's the carapace upgrade for flyers as well. Interesting. Colossus on the way now that he knows that his opponent doesn't have any corruptors. It is an interesting game being played right here. But unit count-wise, that could be dangerous. It's a big force nonetheless of stalkers and sentries pushing their way in. How much more damage can they do? There's the flank. He's very careful. Morrow is very careful. No surround's going to be happening right now. They're stuck. They cannot escape. The palm trees of doom cannot be brought down, and they prove to be... Oh, yeah. Messy, folks. Messy. Socke with once again with the force field deployment right there. Let's keep those banelings. Oh, so... Yeah, quite a few banelings. Quite a few banelings. I will not talk in the manner of the riffraff. Oh, they're coming in. Look at that. That's a mess. That's a mess. Banelings. Oh, dear. Oh. Yeah, that's messy. No question. He's able to take out the rear guard of Socke's forces right there. Waddle, waddle, waddle. Toil and trouble. We're not getting any centrifugal hooks for another couple of seconds. How many more banelings? He's still got 15, though. He is prepared, folks. He is prepared. Let's go and have a look at the economic situation. What's going on right here? We've got an expansion there. We have an expansion here. An expansion there, and an expansion there. But Morrow is one base ahead, as you would like to be, as the Zerg. Charge upgrade. Ground weapons at level 3 coming up once again for Socke. Zerglings, and there finally is that hive upgrade, and it looks like we're gonna have to break that out. Food count wise, they are equal right now. How much damage can they do? A single overlord filled with banelings, what can it do to the economy? It could do an awful lot to the economy. That is potentially vulnerable. This is... yeah, it's fairly vulnerable, honestly. If you come in from the side right there, should be able to do a good drop. Overlords keep an eye on things and see exactly what they can see, but in the meantime, Socke with another push, this time with more Colossus on the field, because of course there are no Corruptors. This could be messy. There's the morph. That morph could be taken apart completely if he's not careful. Quickly they roll away from the impending destruction. 39 banelings on the field, folks. There we go. There they are. In comes the carpet bomb. How much damage can be done? How much damage can be done? The middle of that force, the heart was ripped out, folks. Does he have the numbers still, though, to actually repulse it? A lot of damage coming in right there. Army count is flagging for Socke. It was nasty. There's the storm. Roach is still on the field. He can't break it. He cannot break it. His army count is looking good. Dark Templar on the way. Hydralisks and Roaches and Corruptors. Oh my. Those Colossus did a good amount of damage. They took a good amount of kills between them, but they were not the deciding factor in that particular fight. He was not able to break through. No way. Morrow's defense is strong, no question. However, there is a force of quick zealots moving all the way over here. This could be potentially vulnerable to attack, especially with a level 3 upgrade. We see, however, Morrow is defending it quite ferociously. Got a lot of units there. Those spine crawlers will inflict a huge amount of damage. How much can he get around there? There's the charge. He actually splits his force in two, looks for a surround right there. How much more can he do to this? How much more damage can he do? Oh yes, there's the transfuse. It's good, a double transfuse right here. That spine crawler isn't going down. It's good defense in the meantime. We see an attempt at an engagement that really didn't go anywhere for Socke once again. Baneling morph, folks. Here we go. Yet more of them, relying an awful lot on those banelings. Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. Ground Carapace level 3 is on the way for Morrow right there. Look at that! A drop with Roaches and Hydras coming in, but it is easily crushed by Socke once again, and minimal economic damage inflicted. Oh yeah, a good defense there by Socke, very, very strong indeed, and using the Templar to great effect, and now the Archon is up and ready to roll. That's a lot of Colossi, folks, yes. How many Corruptors are on the field to deal with it? There are 10. That will not be enough to deal with that many. However, the Banelings could prove to be problematic, because there isn't a huge amount of anti-air defense right there. Quite a lot of Stalkers, but not as many as I would like if you're going to be dealing with a force like that. Look at that. That's primarily air-based. That could potentially be messy once again. We see both forces looking equally sized, both economies equally matched right now. Spreading out, there's only 2 points they could potentially expand into right now. Yet another long economic game, which is what people like to see as far as I'm concerned. You know what? I kind of like it too. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Morrow looking for an angle of attack, and he's not finding it right now. He might have to rely on those Ultralisks, but we're not seeing them coming out as of yet. The immortal count is not strong for Socke, but he does have an awful lot of Stalkers, and he does have that level 3 upgrade, so he'll be able to cut through them very well indeed. There's the warp and the quick blink. Take some Corruptors out for free. There we go. Morrow looks to come around the side with that. Primarily, again, basing on an awful lot of trust in those Banelings. How much will it do? There is the rain. The rain from Spain falls mainly on the Stalkers. But, as you can see, it did do quite a lot. Yes, it did. And a pushback. Socke crushed. There you go. Oh, that was a good attack. Those Banelings proving to be extremely potent against the big, nasty death ball of the Protoss. And right now, we are looking for a counterattack. Socke is way behind in terms of units. Does he have the cash to warp in more? He does have enough to warp in some. Looks for the snipe right there. Again, an open field engagement, and he is severely outnumbered. That's not the kind of thing he wants to do. There's the Storm and the Hydralisks, and a good blink out of the way. Very good defense right there. A good solid concave. A good formation by Socke. Pushes them all the way back. Those Overlords have nothing in them. There's the blink. He takes one, looks to take a second. He looks to take a second. He can't do it, though. Not good at all. Those bases looking pretty secure right now. No drops in the bases of either description. The Ultralisks are rolling out. Protoss ground armor level 2 and Immortals as well. However, Morrow does have a huge amount of Banelings and a huge amount of Hydralisks, so I don't know how useful that will be. Bear in mind, the Corruptors won't be much use, but there's only 8 on the field right now, and we could, of course, see Broodlords eventually. Warp Prism on the way, Drop Plate on the way. Here's the Stargate. 2 Dark Templar warping in as well, and there's no Overseer around this area. No Overseer accompanying that. Interesting. That could be potentially devastating, but bear in mind, it's only 2 Dark Templar. It could certainly do damage. It is now being spotted. We know that the Dark Templar is there. An Overseer will no doubt come in there. There's the blink. How much damage can be done? The Baneling Rain. The Rainlings, folks. That's what we call them. So much damage, so much blood that... Oh my god! How much? How many Templar crushed by that? Oh dear, that is brutal. And now, Morrow with the attack, but the warp in is looking pretty unpleasant. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that. Once again, Baneling play by Morrow is absolutely exceptional right here. He splits his forces down the middle, tears the heart out of them with a rain of Banelings that honestly, Socke is not able to kill the Overlords in time. There we go, an Archon in the field. Will that be enough, especially with the Dark Templar backing it up? It certainly will be. Now that force is in an awful lot of trouble. It will die, as will the Overlord. Oh dear. Okay, there are currently 6 Ultralisks being spawned, and that I would consider to be a little bit worrying, if I'm totally honest. That's a little bit concerning right there. There's the hatchery being taken apart. But it's not going to stay. It will not. He cannot. There's an Overseer now on the field. More Banelings come in. He can go for shield upgrades right now. He just needs every advantage he can possibly get in this game. Economically, still, it's pretty much equal. I'd like to know where that actual Warp Prism is. I'm hoping I didn't miss a drop right there. There's the Storm. Can't do an awful lot with it, though. Still waiting on the Ultralisks right now. There are 2 Warp Prisms in the field. Where are they? Is the one in the back of the base? No, there is not. There's the Storm once again. Ultralisks continue to charge their way through. How much damage can they do? Banelings from the air again. Yes, Banelings bursting in air. Can't do an awful lot of damage there. Socke's gone a little bit wise to that tactic. Dark Templar from the side right there. Most likely warped in for that Warp Prism. Could potentially lose that, but they can be seen. They should be seen. He's got the detection on it right there. Now using those Overlords to drop the Ultralisks directly into the base. Ultralisks in your base, yo. How much can you do to them? Well, honestly, you should be able to hold it, but more Overlords on the way. He doesn't actually have all that many. They're going to be crushed with ease. And as we can see, though, the Dark Templar continue to do huge damage. They took the Spine Crawler down. They're gutting the tech buildings of Morrow right now. DTs all over the place. How many Overlords are even available right now for Morrow? Not a lot. Actually, Morrow's army count is not looking good right now. It really isn't. Continues to push in, but his economy is starting to flag. Oh, yes. No real damage done here. That base got gutted. A lot of damage done. Spore Crawler's coming up for the detection, as you might imagine. Trying to expand right here, and he does. Trying to regain that economic dominance that he's had for most of the game. Socke doing a great job of keeping it going. He really, really is. More Stalkers on the field. He's looking at 15 right now. Still Warp Prisms are available, looking for Dark Templar drops, and we are seeing that we are getting them. Not able to take that out, but he will eventually if he's able to continue there. Those doing 60 damage a swing. Morrow not able to get in there. Once again, losing that expansion. That's going to be pretty damn critical for him. Socke actually with a very large unit advantage right now. Going to be able to prosecute that as well. I don't think Morrow's going to be able to hold the line here. We'll find out. More Ultralisks are on the way. My nose is itching at the excitement. Morrow gives it up, ladies and gentlemen. He knows he cannot hold it, and good game. Socke, 3-2 in this best of 7 series. We'll be right back after this, folks. Don't go away.